All right, so I want to take a moment just to talk about my journey with student loans, kind of tell you where I started, where I'm at now, what the whole process looked like. I know a lot of people can relate to this. It's basically everyone I know in my friend group has student loans. They have to make those payments. They're pretty damn expensive too. So I figured this is something that people can relate to. I want to talk about my journey, how I paid them off, how long it took me to pay them off, kind of what my process was throughout school as well. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So I want to start by talking about the amount that it actually cost me to go to school. So I was a weirdo and calculated all my expenses throughout college. This is tuition, this is books, this is everything associated with going to college. I actually tracked it all, and it was about $65,000. This includes, again, books, tuition. This does include student loans. Basically, anything I was required to pay for in order to, get my degree, I included it in this. The exact number of student loans that I took out, as well as tuition payments, I don't know the exact number. I want to say it's somewhere in the neighborhood of like 50,000. So I have a pretty interesting story. I actually went away to college my first semester, ended up taking out a $10,000 loan just for that semester. Sitting in my dorm room one day and I'm running the numbers, realizing I have to do this 7 more times. So 8 semesters at $10,000 each. I'm going to graduate with $80,000 in debt. And that's just principal. If they're unsubsidized, excuse me, if they're subsidized loans, no, I'm all backwards. If they're unsubsidized loans, then I would have to pay interest on those as well, and they would be accruing during school. The subsidized loans don't accrue interest until after you graduate. Unsubsidized do. So the point is, I didn't want to graduate with all those student loans, so I actually decided to transfer out of my school, go back home, and go to community college. It was a really tough decision. I feel like a lot of people judged me for it, but I knew at the end of the day it was the right decision. And looking back at it almost 10 years ago at this point, it was definitely the right decision. I knew it was in the moment, and a lot of people doubted my decision. They thought it was weird that I was transferring back home and going to community college. I don't know if they thought I couldn't make friends or if, I was failing out or whatever they thought. It doesn't really matter. The point is I did it because I knew it was best for me. And it was one of the best financial decisions I've ever made. So finished up community college for 2 years. Then I transferred to another local school, got my 4 year bachelor's degree there in finance. And during all of this, I was working 2, sometimes even 3 jobs, just trying to cash flow school as much as possible. Again, I didn't want to graduate with a bunch of student loans, so I knew I had to work hard and cash flow it. And that's what I did. So when school was all said and done, I graduated with about $20,000 of student loans. I kept working like crazy, working 2, 3 jobs. I ended up paying off my student loans within 6 months of graduating. My student loan payments never even kicked in because you have that 6 month grace period. And I paid my student loans off. That extra 20,000 that I still had left after I graduated, I paid that off within 6 months. So I never even had a minimum monthly payment for my student loans. So that's kind of what my journey looked like. I went pretty crazy trying to pay those off. I don't like the idea of owing people money. So I just went balls to the wall and did everything I could to save and to make money, save and pay off those student loans. I was making not extra payments. I was making payments every single month of, $750, $1,000, like twice a month, if not more actually, now that I'm thinking about it, because it was 20 grand and I paid it off in 6 months. So I was paying about 3,000, a little over 3,000 a month. But yeah, that was my journey with student loans. You can get out of them too. I know it seems overwhelming. A lot of people have a lot more than $20,000. But you have to work hard and just put every extra dollar towards it. Just sacrifice for a little while, spend this next year making a little extra money, working a side job, do whatever you have to do. Don't go out with your friends as much and just pay off those student loans as much as possible, because it's just a shitty feeling knowing that you have to make that payment every single month. And once you're done with those loans and you finally make that last payment, man, it's a good feeling. Like you just feel like no one can tell you what to do. It's just like a burden off of your back knowing that you no longer have to make that payment. And honestly, that goes with any debt that you have, credit cards, car loans. I'm sure the feeling of paying off that final payment for a mortgage feels amazing too. But the topic here is student loans. Do what you got to do, work hard, make extra payments. Once they're paid off, you're going to feel fantastic. It took a lot of hard work. I dedicated basically my life to it for throughout college, but also those next 6 months. Again, every single extra dollar I had went towards those student loans, and it ended up paying off. I paid them off real quick, and now I don't have to worry about them. And all that money that I would have been paying towards those minimum monthly payments is now free every single month, and I can do what I want with it. I can spend it on myself. I can invest it. It's just a good feeling having those loans paid off. So I just wanted to kind of come on here, talk about my story with student loans, but also give a little motivation to let you know what it feels like once they're done. That way you can kind of focus up and do your best to pay them off as soon as possible. That way you can feel free from the government loans as well as those private ones. Those are even worse, man. Those interest rates are terrible on those. So if you don't know where to start, if you need a game plan, this is a basic game plan that I think most people who are financially literate would tell you. Make sure you're making minimum monthly payments on every single loan. You don't want to miss payments on any of them. You don't want to, default on any of those loans. And then once you do that, you want to target the highest interest rate loan. Most of the time, the private loans are going to have higher interest rate than the federal ones. So you're going to want to prioritize those first and then go after the federal. But at the end of the day, it really just comes down to which one has the highest interest rate. You're going to target that one while you're making minimum monthly payments on all the other ones. So that's it. That's all I had for you guys. If you like this, if you like these kind of personal stories that I think a lot of people can relate to, let me know. I'll keep posting stuff like this. Otherwise, I'll keep talking about personal finance and just life in general, my experiences. So yeah, if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.